Sorry for messing things up. I pre-apologize. Yeah, great.
Play music and you sing.
Brachot Habaot.
Everyone will,
Brachot.
kind of settle in.
Brachot Habaot. Do. All right. Brachot Habaot tachat kanfei hashechina. Bruchim habayim tachat kanfei hashechina. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. Bruchot habaot tachat kanfei hashechina. Bruchim habayim tachat kanfei hashechina. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I am so excited to be able to share with you this really special Shabbat service. This Shabbat service for Shabbat Shira, Shabbat of song, of poetry, of celebrating so many of our matriarchs who perhaps go unnamed. Tonight, we are so incredibly blessed to have two guests helping to lead this service tonight. Alyssa French, who also led last week so beautifully, playing the piano, and also Rena Stober, who is a cantorial student, and we are so excited to have her as well. And of course, we're also really blessed because there are members of our community who wrote all sorts of different things for tonight, and so many people who will be participating in services, either shaking those tambourines, leading poetry, other creative additions, and so many other blessings. So why don't we begin our service by honoring our sisterhood? And we're going to turn to page 121, and I'd love to invite up Linda Belzer to lead us in lighting our Shabbat candles. Isn't it? It's helpful for people online. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there you go.
Is that better? Okay. All right. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu, b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you so much, Linda, for leading us in that blessing, and of course to our incredible sisterhood for everything that you do for our congregation. We're going to turn to a piece of music that isn't going to be in your prayer book, but might very well be familiar to you, talking about both sides of the story that we read in the Torah, and perhaps the part of the story that isn't written down, but nonetheless makes such an impact.
Please join me if you know this tune. Bows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels and dizzy dancing way you feel, and every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave them laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you, to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and the circus crowds. I've looked at life that way, but now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed, but something's lost and something's gained in living every day, I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
As we move into our service of welcoming Shabbat, so much of the language in our prayer book is very masculine, especially when it refers to God. And yet there's a word for God that appears within this next prayer that actually is emblematic of the feminine. That God is seen as Shekhinah, or Malchut, this feminine presence of God in our midst. And we welcome in fact, the Sabbath bride to come into our midst. Mothering presence, enfold me, unfold me, and walk with me, and walk with me. I need to turn to you. I need to walk with you. I need to rest with you. Beloved, come to me, but not to win my wars. Beloved, come to me, but not to make my peace. Come, O loved one, but not to build my house. If only you will walk with me. If only you will be with me. If only you will shelter me. We turn to Lachado D on page 138.
La 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 Lachado D. שמור וזכור בדיבורך השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ותפארת ולתהילה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה
Your spirit and face our entranceway, welcoming in the bride.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם משמחה וצוהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה.
Now that we're standing as one community, I invite you to take a moment to turn to your neighbors and to wish them a Shabbat Shalom, and for you online to do that as well.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Too long. We will. Don't worry. I promise. All in good time. As one community, I love how much excitement and love is in this room right now. It's a special Shabbat. So I'm going to invite everyone, now that we are all standing still, to, as one community of love and care as we are, to call ourselves and one another to worship on page 146 with the Baruch Hu.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared?
You may be seated. I know we're all very excited about those tambourines. I promise you they're coming. They're coming. But first, we turn to our prayer on page 149, our prayer about creation. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 150, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadata. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadata. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever, forever. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadata.
In just a moment, we're going to turn to what I think is the most central prayer within our tradition, which is the Shema. And the Shema is powerful for a number of reasons, one of them being how unifying it is. That our community is made up of people with different ideas and different politics, different backgrounds and colors and genders, but we come together and we are Am Yisrael, we are one people. As we know, when we read our Haggadah, when we look at our Torah, it doesn't always give us all the stories of everyone. And that's why tonight is kind of a special celebration, uplifting the stories of people who perhaps we haven't heard. And I am really, really excited because we have a few people who have written things tonight, but Lori Feldman and Shelley Goffstein worked together to write something that I think everyone is really going to enjoy about some of these incredible women within our tradition. So I'd love to invite you up to do just that. Props and all.
Hi, everybody. Boy, that's really weird from up here. I'm Lori, and Shelley and I are going to tell you the story of three women without whom there would be no children of Israel today. Without these women, Moses would never have gone up the mountain to receive God's commandments. The Talmud would never have been written. The world would still worship many gods, and the Israelites would still be enslaved.
In this story, there will be near death, defiance of the laws of man, and heroism in the face of tyranny and impossible odds. Our story takes some dramatic... Okay. Want me to start over? In this story, there will be near death, defiance of the laws of man, and heroism in the face of tyranny and impossible odds. Our story takes some dramatic license, but we think it might have really gone this way.
First, we're going to introduce you to our cast. We have...
We have a lot of hats here.
Yeah, a lot of hats. Yochved,
And we have Miriam,
and we have Amram, and we have Princess Bitya. And hopefully we'll remember which hats go with which characters as we go along.
hopefully. Three women, Yochved, the mother of Miriam, Aaron and Moses, Miriam and Bitya, the princess of Egypt, changed the course of Jewish history and ensured the survival of their people.
In the time of Pharaoh, the enslaved Jewish people were increasing, and Pharaoh felt threatened by them. Because of this, he ordered that all male Jewish infants were to be killed. Amram, then the leader of the Israelites, husband of Yochved and father of Miriam, decreed that husbands and wives must divorce to prevent any children from being born, thinking that thus they would not be killed. He was determined to stop the infanticide imposed by Pharaoh. Accordingly, Amram put Yochved aside, and so did all the other Israelite men do with their wives. Yochved, who was the leader of the women, and her daughter Miriam, could not accept that. Let's hear what they had to say.
Where's Daddy? I miss him. I'm tired of living alone with you.
Women are no longer permitted to bear children. Your father put me aside, and so did all the other men with their wives.
That's just so stupid. What about the girls who were never born? That's just helping Pharaoh to wipe us all out. If you and Father do this, we will be the last generation of people.
I tried to tell your father that, but he refused to listen. He said that because I'm a woman, I don't understand. He says you and your brother are enough for us.
Well, I'm going to talk to him.
Best of luck. Let me know how it goes. So Miriam sought out her father and confronted him. This is getting in my way. That's got to go.
Hey, Dad. Mom told me that what you and all the other men are doing.
Your mother, she never knows when to keep her mouth shut.
She didn't tell me. I asked. I miss you, and Aaron cries for you every day.
What choice did I have?
You have the choice to listen to God, not Pharaoh. Come home and let the other men rejoin their wives. You will figure out how to keep everyone alive.
You always were a wise young woman. I've been missing your mother and Aaron, too. 9 months later, Yochved gave birth to Moses.
Yeah, get Moses.
Here's Moses.
Okay. Okay, where is it? Oh, he's so cute. I love having two little brothers.
We have to hide him, like all the others. Take him to the cave, and I will come tonight to feed him.
Okay. Yocheved and Miriam hid Moses until he was 3 months old. But then it became too hard to hide him, and they realized that they would have to give him up, so they came up with a plan.
The princess, Bitya, is barren, but she wants a baby, and we have one. Let's go to see her and see what we can work out.
I like it. I think we can make this work. I'll talk to her next time I attend a birth at the palace.
Miriam and Bitya met.
Hi. You have a problem, and I have a solution.
What do you mean?
We have a baby, and we can't keep this baby, and you want a baby, but you can't have one.
But your baby is an Israelite, and I can only adopt an Egyptian.
What if we think of a way to give you the baby without revealing where he came from? We could put him in a basket and place him in the reeds of the river, and then you will just happen to find him.
That would work, but how will I feed him?
You call for a wet nurse, and I'll bring one to you. Okay, here we go.
No,
I can't have that. Sorry. Okay. Okay, thank you. Miriam goes to the river and places Moses where she can watch over him until the princess finds him.
A baby! Give me that baby. Oh, what a beautiful little boy. I will keep him. Let me take him to my father, and we'll make it official. And bring me a wet nurse for this hungry baby.
I will do as you ask.
Oh, wait, I think you have to be the princess now. Princess,
Yes.
I've been summoned to nurse your son. Now you give me that one back. We're wearing a lot of hats today.
Typically, women wear a lot of hats. So, okay. All right.
Right there.
All right. This woman will nurture your son for you. Okay.
Wonderful. Take him and keep him with you until he's weaned, then bring him back to me. I will raise him as a prince of Egypt. By the way, if you happen to have any other babies that you can't keep, bring them to me as well. My women will take them and raise them as their own.
Thus Moses was saved, along with all the other male Jewish infants. Moses lived to lead his people out of Egypt to the promised land and to the nation of Israel, and the nation of Israel has continued to this day. The end.
Yay.
Thank you, Lori and Shelley, so much for bringing in your voices and your creativity. It was wonderful. And now, as one unified community, let's join in saying the words of the Shema, hearing one another's voices and uplifting one another as well. I invite you to rise. We are on page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shemot Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated if you wish.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידך, והיו לתותבות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם, amen. Leaving Egypt by Merrill Felds. The night is so dark, and I am afraid. I see nothing, smell nothing. The only reality, I'm holding my mother's hand. And as we talk, I hear the sounds of a multitude in motion in front, behind, all around, a multitude in motion. I have no thought of tomorrow. Now in the darkness, there is only motion and my mother's hand. We're going to turn to page 161 for the Hashkivenu. 160.
Now I'm really going to ask all of you to join in with me. I'm going to sing it a few times, and then once you're comfortable, we're going to all sing it together, and then we're going to do something crazy. We're going to divide you into two, and we're going to sing this side, and we're going to build around with this side. You up for it? Yay! Here we go. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. How do you feel? Do you feel like you got the melody? If you don't know the words, just La is just as sacred as Hashkiveinu. So I'm going to start Hashkiveinu, and then stage left, audience right, will start Hashkiveinu. Okay? This is going to be beautiful no matter what happens. Right? It's Shabbat. Here we go. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu l'shalom, l'chaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkei. And everyone together. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. One more time. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. We did it. We're doing our prayers a little bit out of order. And that's because we have some props in just a moment. So anyone who is about to hand out said props, this is your cue to go and grab them so that we can hand out a few more. But first I want to offer this poem, A Song of Miriam by Ruth Sohn. I, Miriam, stand at the sea and turn to face the desert, stretching endless and still. My eyes are dazzled, the sky brilliant blue, sunburnt sands unyielding white. My hands turn to dove wings, my arms reach for the sky, and I want to sing. The song rising inside me, my mouth open, I stop. Where are the words? Where the melody? In a moment of panic, my eyes go blind. Can I take a step without knowing a destination? Will I falter? Will I fall? Will the ground sink away from under me? The song still unformed, how can I sing? To take the first step, to sing a new song is to close one's eyes and dive into unknown waters. For a moment, knowing nothing, risking all. But then to discover the waters are friendly, the ground is firm, and the song rises again out of my mouth. Come words lifting the wind, and I hear for the first the song that has been in my heart, silent, unknown, even to me. If anyone would like a timbrel, we might need one as we get to the Micha Mocha. Timbrels of different sizes, feel free to grab. Yeah, there's a bunch there. So feel free to grab and pass them around. And I think there's some more somewhere. Go ahead. Timbrels, anyone? I know there's some more out there, so if you want them, I promise there's more. But we are going to turn to lifting with our own song, singing the Song of Miriam in Micha Mocha. We turn back to page 158, and I invite you to use those timbrels to dance if you feel so moved. After all, this is the Shabbat of Miriam's song. Torah tehilot, o sefer the tapestry she wrote was which the singer history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight, and woman touched the spirit, and she danced toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels follow Miriam as she sang her song. Sing as one to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance all night long. When Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of the miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we just passed in freedom march to a promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels follow Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance all night long. Last verse. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song and sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle. We're gonna dance tonight. Stand up! And the women dancing with their timbrels follow Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance all night long.
I'm glad we've warmed you up a little bit.
Yeah.
There will be another chance to dance with those timbrels and sing that song when we take the Torah out and we hear Miriam's song once more, and straight from the Torah as well. Yes, what are you doing, Shana? Okay. We're going to be turning to our Amidah, the prayers that are so central to our tradition, where we offer our innermost prayers. And the very first prayer in our Amidah is called traditionally Avot. Does anyone know what Avot means? Fathers, exactly. And what's missing from that?
Mothers.
Mothers. And so the Reform movement and other movements as well have added in the matriarchs here. But in that spirit, we're going to offer a couple of poems now. First, inviting up Eve and also Linda Herman, who will be telling us about some of these women, some of whom we've heard a little bit about, and some who we actually haven't heard a whole lot about yet. Go ahead.
To just go and start?
Yeah.
Among the rolls of worthy names, hers remains untold. The unknown daughter of a mighty king, who sees a child of wretched slaves condemned to certain death. She could, unheeded, turn aside, yet risks her father's wrath to swim against the tide and save him. That child himself, once grown, can neither turn away nor overlook injustice, and he too intercedes.
And that was about Bitya, or Batya, the Pharaoh's daughter.
Have you heard about Shifra and Pua? I thought you might not have. Humble as they were, midwives devoting their lives to healthy babies, emerging in the world, unsung heroes of our Exodus journey. Never lifting their voices or their gaze, strong yet gentle, soft-spoken yet firm, unintimidated by pharaohs, governed by unearned fear, they remained moral and just. When Pharaoh asked them to kill Hebrew babies, they never said no, at least not directly. They were too shrewd and wise to be that bold. Instead, they used his bias against him. If he believed Hebrews to be unhuman, they would tell him that Israelites weren't like women, that gave birth before midwives could arise. So there was no way they could do Pharaoh's will. And Pharaoh, defeated, for a change, had nothing to say. Two women saving unknown lives, including young Moses. Teaching great heroes need not be loud or boastful, that the great revolutions, the greatest moral actions, could be spurred quiet discernment and humble integrity. They were women, after all.
Thank you both so much. And as we turn to our Amidah, as we turn to these blessings, let us raise the voices of everyone within our community and within our tradition. We offer this Amidah, invoking the memory of all those of all genders who inspire us and allow our identity as part of Am Yisrael to be a blessing for us all. Please rise in body or in spirit. We're on page 164. Ananana Adonai, Ananana Siftai Tiftach, Ananana Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai. Ananana Siftai Tiftach, Ananana Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor B'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo V'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Ata Rav Lo Shia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol V'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Ropei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, Umekayim emunato lishenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot, umido melech, melech memit umechayeh, umasmiach Yeshua, v'neman hata lechayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah kadosh b'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please continue with the prayers in the prayer book or with the prayers of your heart, and whenever you feel ready to do so, you may be seated.
shalom emrama, Yaseh shalom aleinu, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael.
In just, whoops. There we go. Now you can hear me. Good. God said, let there be sound. So we are about to head into our Torah service. And the reason that this entire evening is a special evening is because of what appears within the Torah this evening, where we see the words outlined looking like a poem, like a song, and indeed it is the very song that Miriam led the Israelites in singing. So right now, we are going to prepare for this Torah reading, but in order to prepare, I want to invite up Rabbi Catherine to tell us a little bit of her understanding of Miriam as we prepare to hear Miriam's song. This doesn't seem to be working well, so if you use this, everyone will hear you. Great.
Okay, can you hear me? Good, because I don't hear very well, so I can never tell if anyone can hear anybody. Okay, so Miriam is like my favorite name. She's the name I gave myself because some of you were here with me when we had remember that really big B'nai mitzvah, bat mitzvah, a whole bunch of us, a lot of older people, and I didn't have a Hebrew name, so I chose the name Miriam. I mean, what the heck, why not? Okay, but Miriam is really, we get to dance with Miriam tonight. So, and it says, then Miriam the prophet, Aaron's sister, by the way, it does not mention Moses, her brother, in this, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her in dance with timbrels. And Miriam chanted for them, sing to the Lord, for he has driven us gloriously. Horse and rider he has hurled into the sea. 2 sentences. So I said, wow, why do we keep looking at Miriam? She only ends up in Torah 4 times. That's not a whole lot, you know. So we have a lot in here. First of all, Miriam is a leader. All the women, not some of the women, not the ones who felt like it, all the women followed her. So she is quite a leader at this point. She gets even better as it goes further, but we're not doing that tonight. She's a woman who thinks ahead. Here we are, we're at the end of plague number 10, right? And we were supposed to get out of here, and we have wanted to get out of Egypt for a very, very, very long time. But it's the women, of course, who are preparing to go. The men are out killing the animals that they're going to take and gathering their stuff. But they've got all the children. So who would be thinking, as you're trying to get out of some place that you have been in for decades and decades, are you going to say, where's my tambourine? But all those women followed Miriam, and they sang, and they used their symbols. So did they think that they were going to live and celebrate at this time? By the way, they're not sure. We are entering a land that we have never been in before. We don't know the way around. We don't know where the water is. We just had this huge place open and then close, and here we are. That's a really bold position. And Miriam takes that time to sing and to dance. That, I think, is just really incredible. She's a prophet, she's a leader, she's a keeper of things being well, and she sings and dances. She makes a choir for herself, you could say, right? Okay, so then we take care of your siblings. That's something else we learn from Miriam. We also learn from here something which has not happened yet, but we do learn not to gossip. Some of you will know why that would be important. What else can we learn from her, particularly we women? To speak our truths bravely, to bear the consequences of our actions, to lead with joy and song, to advise, to counsel, to console, to protect the young as she protected Moses. As we remember Miriam every Friday night with song, let us be inspired to honor her with our own courage.
Thank you so much. Always a privilege. Always a privilege to be able to hear some words of wisdom from Rabbi Catherine as we dive into this portion of Miriam. So, when we take the Torah around, we are going to be doing a hakafah. You are welcome to join this hakafah, to raise those timbrels and have fun. The only thing I will say, there are candles lit right there. We're going to be really, really careful, okay? Over there, please be careful. I did not think that piece through, so I apologize. But we are going to be taking the Torah out of the ark, so I invite you to please rise as we sing Ki Mitzion and have those timbrels handy.
Torah, Dvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki Mitzion, Tete Torah, Dvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki Mitzion, Tete Torah, Dvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki Mitzion, Tete Torah, Dvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Shenatan, Torah le'amon, Torah le'amon Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan, Torah le'amon.
You can dance without me too, I'm slower.
Yisrael, B'Shuato, Mitzion, Tete Torah, Dvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki Mitzion, Tete Torah, Dvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki Mitzion, Tete Torah, Dvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki Mitzion, Tete Torah. upon the shores and gaze across the sea. The wonder of the miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and a march to promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels follow Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance all night long.
Timbrels are meant for peace, peace only. You may be seated. Okay, so in just a few minutes, when I lift up the Torah, which hopefully I have muscle for after walking around for so long with the Torah, you're going to see the special poetry and the way in which this scroll is written. But right now, we're going to offer our blessing over our Torah. And I thought about special aliyot and who to invite up in order to do this really, really special Torah portion, and I realized Miriam's song is all of our song. And so what I'd love to do is have all of us, as a community, offer the blessing of the Aliyah. So on page 368 in your prayer books, let's join together in blessing the Torah. Okay, ready? Sorry, this computer is too big. I need to move it so I can read Torah. There we go. All right. Echad, shtaim, shalosh. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'Torah. Amen. Az yashir Moshe u'bnei Yisrael et hashira hazot l'Adonai v'yomeru lemor. Ashira l'Adonai ki gaoga sus v'rachvu ramavayam. O ziv zimrat yavayeli lishua zeili v'anvehu Elohei haviv aromemenhu Adonai hish milchama Adonai shemo marchavot paro v'chelu yira bayam umivkar shalashab tivu b'yam suf teomot yikasumu yardu bim solot kemo haven Yamin Adonai nizarei b'koach Yamin Adonai tiryat oyev Uverov geoncha teharos kamecha Tishalach aroncha Yochlemu kakash Uveruach hapecha Narmu mayim Nitzvu kamonet nozlim V'kafu tehomot b'lev yam Amar yev et ropasi gachaleik shalal Tim lahemu nafshi achari charbi Tereshemu yadi Neshavta Baruch echa ki samu yam Salalu keferet b'mayim adirim. Here it is. Micha mocha bailim Adonai, micha mocha nentar b'kodesh, norati lot o seifele. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. I invite you to please rise as we lift up the Torah for all to see. Sorry, it's getting stuck. Hold on.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
V'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe, v'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe. Lifnei b'nei Yisrael, lifnei b'nei Yisrael. V'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe, v'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe. V'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah. The way it's written is pretty neat, isn't it? You may be seated. I want to invite up Deb Villanueva to offer one final poem that she wrote, and we're so grateful that you'll share it with us.
This poem was inspired by the courageous and extraordinary women from the past and the resilient women of today. It doesn't really have a title yet, but I think I'm going to call it The Legacy of Strength and Courage. Okay, let me breathe. Miriam, wife of Moses, strong and true, a leader among her people in all she do. With wisdom, courage, and unwavering faith, she showed the women of her time a brighter way. In the desert, she watched her brother lead, guiding the Israelites with grace and speed. And when her courage was put to the test, she spoke out against Pharaoh, standing tall no less. Miriam, a symbol of strength and might, an example to women to stand up for what's right. In a world where power was reserved for men, she shattered the glass ceiling time and again. And so, today, as women break free from their chains, we honor Miriam, who broke down the terrain. Her spirit lives on in every woman who dares to rise up and make their voice heard, unafraid and aware. From the boardroom to the classroom, in every field and trade, women today, just like Miriam, fearlessly lead the way. With confidence and grace, they forge ahead, empowering others, breaking barriers, a new dawn ahead. Miriam, wife of Moses, a woman of great renown, an inspiration to all women who wear her crown. Her strength and courage, an example still for women everywhere to climb every hill.
So beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a lot of talents in our congregation. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, we have a lot of talent in this community, don't we? How blessed, how truly, truly blessed we are. Well, we've heard of the legacy of Miriam and Shifra and Pua and Bidya and so many others tonight through all this poetry and creativity. But the thing is, their legacy didn't end once the Israelites left Egypt. In fact, there are all of these different midrashim about the ways in which Miriam in particular, but surely she's not the only one, sustained her people. How? With water. That whenever the Israelites were wandering through the desert, and that was a long time, she was the one who was able to find and provide water for the people. What a powerful metaphor. When we're in the desert, or the desert of our lives, as my professor Norman Cohen used to say, or still does say, we need that water. We need that nourishment. We need the people who will be able to uplift us and give us that support. And so as we think about her, as we think about the healing presence of so many in our community, I want to join in with one more song called The Women of the Well, a song by Debbie Friedman, who I always think about, especially during Shabbat Shira. And the chorus is very, very simple. You might not have heard it before, or at least not heard it recently, but the words are, the water and the well, the woman and the well, the woman and the water and the women and the well. How's that for an alliteration, right? So I'm going to do the chorus a couple times and invite you to get used to that, and then I'll sing the verses, and hopefully you'll join me every time we come back to that chorus. Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. Let's try that one more time. Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. That's the entire chorus, and we're going to go back to it a few times. It was in Miriam's honor that the first well came to be, to celebrate her music, her dance and prophecy. And the people came to Miriam when their spirits rose and fell. She nourished all their visions with the water from the well. Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. Spring up the well, the 12 tribes sang, and rushing waters flowed. High as pillars into rivers, into oceans they would go. Surrounded by the trees and fruits so rich and bountiful, the Israelites were nourished by the water from the well. Ready? Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. The water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. For the memory of the women, for the memory of the well, for the ones who came before us, their stories we must tell. We are searching for the waters where we wander, where we dwell. For Miriam and all of us who long to find the well. Everyone, oh, the well and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. The water and the well and the healing and the well, the women and the water and the hope that's in the well. Oh, the water and the well and the healing and the well, women and the water and the hope that's in the well. The water in the well. I'm losing my mic. Hold on. There it is. So we take with us the legacy of people in our community, the waters that heal us and nourish us, the people in our lives who sustain us. Right now, there's a lot going on in this world, and even in this community, where people are struggling with lots of things. And I think that it's up to each of us to offer healing, to offer that water, to offer sustenance to one another. So I'd like to turn right now to our Mishaberach prayer, a prayer for healing of mind, of body, and spirit for everyone in our community and everyone in our hearts. As I go around, I invite you to say aloud the names of anyone for whom you'd like to offer this prayer. For all of our friends on Zoom, I invite you to write in the chat anyone whose names you'd like me to say out loud. Is there anyone I missed? I'm going to read the names of people written in the chat as well. Bonnie Leopold, Pam Tarlow, Bob Dworkin, Steve Skoll, Judy Rice, Sunny, Susie, Cassie Feldberg, Josh Montgomery, Paul Cohen, Mario Rojas, Ray Murphy, Randy Gallagher, Francine Wixon, Sandy Chickman, Jennifer Hamburg-Roski, Kristen, Michael Stephen, Bonnie Ezra, Alice, Joshin, Mary Jo, Kelly, Dean Frost, Kirsta Peterson, Julia Coda, Joyce Taus, Israel, Will Holmes, Phyllis Burke. For all the people whose names we've said out loud and everyone whose names we hold in our heart, let us together offer our Mishaberach prayer. 371.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha. Those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
May they all find a complete healing and complete and speedy recovery, and may they feel our words of prayer. I invite you to rise once more as we return our Torah to the Ark with Eitz Chaim Hi, 374. As we move to the very end of our service, we prepare ourselves to turn to 586 for the Aleinu. And we remember that the word Aleinu means it's on us. It's on us to keep the legacy of all of the incredible people of all genders and backgrounds, to keep and uplift that incredible legacy. It's on us to create a world that we wish to see, one filled with justice and compassion. And that feels like a big responsibility, but as we take that on, let us remember that one small act can have ripple effects that make a difference beyond what we could ever know. So let's join in singing our Aleinu. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo hasanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishbechot adama, shelo sam kelkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol amonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated. I'd like to invite up Marla to lead us.
Shabbat Shalom. Do I need this?
Yeah, is it on? It might have gone off. There we go. Let's make sure you're heard.
Shabbat Shalom. Oh, good. Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to read a piece by that Rabbi Cassi selected. It's by Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt. My sense is that you will be touched by it and its poignancy. Here in the desert, I take each woman's hand and lead her through the narrow straits. I sing protection until her baby comes safely through. I have no daughters to teach what I know, and the girls are afraid of me. The Egyptian ways I learned from Shifra and Pua will die with me. One of the girls I delivered will inherit my carved birthing stool, my stock of hyssop, my wool and sea sponges, but only I know the names of God I call upon in the night. And when I die, there will be no water, and when I am gone, the well will disappear. Without me, the people will be restless. But brother, my brother, do not weep. Bury me here on the flats of Zin. The women will sing my songs at sundown, and I will hear their voices on the wind. Every woman of Israel who seeks to draw these waters forth will be my hands. Thus has God spoken. Amen. Amen. Salah.
Thank you so much. Our service always ends with memory, uplifting people who have died in recent days and weeks. Vivian Cohen and Robert Efros, Emma Trudeau, Randy Holbert, and Sal Mayo. We also uplift the names of all the people who have died at this time in years past. Gordon Edelson, Jerome Block, Sheldon Bachner, Ethel Sally Bowden, Kenneth Brunner, Jean Birch, Kenneth Brunner, Jean Birch, Betty Marie Butler, Alan Carlin, Clara Cohen, Emmanuel Cohen, Ann Cooper-Smith, Sally Davis, Hy Falbell, Herbert Feebleman, Leo Fisher-Finzi, Samuel Gorell, May Getzoff, Raphael Gottesman, Dr. James Grossman, Vivian Cohn Gazowski, Paul Hodes, Eugene Jonas, Lester Jones, Jean Katowitz, Nathan Kaufman, Benjamin Kerman, Milton Klein, Sylvia Kovitz, Gilbert Kraus, Fanny Lang, Glenn Lawrence, Louis Maurer, Estelle Moore, Edith Ostrom, Irving Picard, John Proud, Thomas Puchter, Louis Rockhoff, Nancy Rose, Libby Salk, Anna Schwartz, Belle Smoller, Fred Spector, Jacob Startz, David Stein, Max Steinhaus, Harriet Stern, Celia Sugarman, Ruben Tepper, Joseph Norman Udowitz, Benjamin Vallon, Lorraine Wall, Howard Weiss, Daniel Willens, Alex Zaks, Raymond Ziegler, Al Zirkis. For all the people whose names we've said out loud, for the other people whose names might not be said aloud, but who we're certainly holding in our hearts, for all those who have died in recent terror attacks and those who die on our city streets, let us rise together as a community of care and blessing, as together we offer the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yit kadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'almad yivrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mifarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudusha barichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiram v'yama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'okol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'okol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories be a blessing. And together we say, amen. We join together in singing Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom b'mroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom b'mroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom b'mroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom b'mroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael.
A huge thank you to Rena Stober and Alyssa French for leading us in music, Peter and Tom for being our greeters tonight, and I did not mention, but should have because I didn't see her before, Sandy Picard in honor of her 80th birthday. Yes, Mazal Tov. We have an oneg in the next room just waiting for you in her honor. And thank you to everyone who was a part of services tonight. Every single one of you is a blessing. Shabbat Shalom. For those of you online, you are welcome to hang around and have a virtual oneg. Thank you so much for being here.
I didn't have them in my book.
It's all
So you
good.
looked at
I
me and was
totally
like, oh,
messed
it's not
up
in my
the
book.
round. I just had too
It was
much
great.
going on.
No, it was great. They did it. Did you hear it? Oh, it sounded so good. And then I didn't have
I totally missed it.
And then I didn't have Osei Shalom brought up, and I was like,